Hi, my name's Matt Cyrus, and in this video we're going to look at finishing the UVs for this prop. We're also going to finish UV in this cable as well. So let's get started. Okay, so the next thing is I've still got this. Now, we cut this a minute ago, didn't we? Which we shouldn't have done, but it's fine because we can fix it by selecting the edges. Go stitch. There we go. And if I select that, there you go. The only problem is it's slightly out. So if we just align just going to do a clean up on it. Yeah. Right, where's the problem? Something not right here. What is it? There you go. See, and just by practice, you pick this up when you're learning. So just keep practicing, keep building things. You'll start to realize when things go wrong. Now, to be fair, we don't need to seam this. Like, we don't need to attach this on at all, really. So I'm just gonna create a new UV shell and just keep this on the bottom bit, and again let's just stitch this and stitch this, and there you go. So I've laid that bit out, so I'm happy with that. I can move it over here. Now with the cylinder it's a little bit different, so I'm just going to automatic. Now I'm going to find out where this piece is. It's here. Okay, so anything like this I'm just going to move off a minute out of the way. So I want to keep them circular, and what I'm going to do is just select all that, cut it, and then the same with these faces because I don't want them on yet. Cut. Okay, so let's start with this one. Okay, and hit stitch, and it's rinse and repeat. So stitch. Grab the edge loop, to edge ring, so select, stitch, to edge, so one more, stitch, select the edge loop, the edge ring even, sorry, and so. Now it's slightly out of shape, so this is where unfold comes in. There you go, you got a nice perfect circle. Okay, this is a bit weird, but okay, now what I want to do is do the same with this. I want to select where the seam goes, and I'm going to select it here, stitch, and there we go, and the seam is here. Now, what I'm going to do is just separate this, because there's no point me UVing all of this. So I'm just going to get rid of these. UV this one. Stitch it. Stitch. 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 Okay. There we go. So I've got that now. I'm just going to duplicate it. Remember, we just put it in the center, so here. my laptop is a little bit hot. There you go. So that's quite happy. Okay, let's just do this one as well. So, where's that one? Oh, hello. That shouldn't be there. So we'll just delete that. That's fine. If we look underneath this now. So one thing I learned when I started using the newer versions of Maya is, especially with the new UV editor, if you just delete it in here, if you've got this window active, you go like that, the actual face is still there. So you need to actually make sure you're active in this window to do it. Nope. Come on. There we go. Let's try that again, shall we? I'll just unfold it. There you go. So we've got this now, and I'm just going to do that. Combine. I'm going to get rid of this one, and that's now UV'd. What else have we got? We got this. So that's automatic. Hello. Cool. What's that? Ooh, double click on it. And I can also snap the verts, the UVs as well. Let's merge that. There you go. Right. Okay, this is a bit of a weird one. Like, you could connect those, but it's just gonna it's gonna do that basically, which is not what you want. So we can leave those. Fine. Where are these going? Let's cut that. So. Stitch, 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 and stitch. You could cut these, stitch them, sew them. May look alright, may not. I'm just going to keep them like that for now, just for this demo. I'm going to do the same with these. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so that's that one done. Now, that's how I go about UV. Pretty straightforward. I don't use cylindrical mapping or spherical mapping, just too much cleanup. I just find doing an automatic map. There are other ways, planar, a lot of people use planar, I used to. As long as you get the same result, which is a good texel density across your whole object. Now, what I mean by that is that making sure that every object that you've got has the same texel density. Because if, say, you've got one side of the face here, which has a different texel density to up here, and you try and do a scratch, one side's going to be bigger than the other. So that's general rule of thumb with that. Also as well, because these are individual, you could have them sharing the same UV space. Now for mobile, that's great, because you need to save space. I was doing some work on mobile, and I have to like overlap stuff and that for that. For this, because we may want to have dirt that is on unique to this piece to that, we're going to have it having their own UV space inside of here between 0 and 1. Now, the cylinder, again, I just automatic map it. And what I do is let's deselect that, cut it, grab the edges, and then I find where I want to put the seam. So there, stitch it, and there you go. And you know where the seam is exactly because you've put it there. And it's the same, like so. These edges, because they're small enough to do that. This is going the wrong way, so I do want it to go that way, because when I start to do the normal map detail on this, I want to make sure this is the right way. All of these pieces won't have normal map. This will, because it is the whatchamacallit, it is the inside, and it's got like this kind of pattern work inside it. So again, what I'm going to do is deselect, cut. I'm going to select there, stitch. There you go. And I'm actually going to get rid of that. There's no need for it. I'm just going to make sure this is the right way again, so yeah, that'll do. Okay, so that's how I would UV the cylinder. It's pretty straightforward. The box, again, I'd do the same as this, so automatic map, start to sew it all back in together so it's one piece. And you can see from this one here, that's exactly how I did it. See here, this is the box. It's a little bit different to how I actually no, that's the thingy. So this is this box here, on here. Now at this point, you've got all these pieces that are different sizes. So what I tend to do is, let me just hide this a minute. No. We'll come to something in a minute, I'll show you. Let's just hide that because we don't need it. So let's just grab these pieces. And let's just quickly randomly set this to 16. No, that's not what I wanted. There's something like that. They're all over the place. So once you UV'd all your items, your pieces that make up the whole object, you'll want to lay them out. Now, all of them will be different sizes. So what you want to use is this Texel Density calculator. Now what we can do is we can get the size of this. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at the Texel Density of this. When you're UVing, everything's all over the place anyway, and different sizes. So what you want to do is you want to start to get this into a correct size, basically a equal size between the whole every single piece of object on either in your scene or on your object and that sort of stuff. So what we're going to look at is there's a couple of ways. We could just use a preset, which I just did. That means each one of these boxes in conformity to that. Actually, let me just change this to 2048 because that's the size of the texture we're going to use for this. Okay, now if I get, all right, let's round it up to 32. I'm just going to set this. Now each one of these is equal, depending on size and that sort of stuff. I'm just going to make this slightly bigger. There you go. Set. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this out on my UV sheet. I could do it myself, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use Maya's standard one, which is pretty good anyway. So I'm going to shift left click on layout, There we go. I'm going to go to Unfold 3D. Now, packing resolution, you can keep at 256, but down here, we're going to change this to 2048. Now, we want some edge padding in there, just in case any bleeds, or if we have actually bleeding inside of substance, we can think it. So 5 pixels should be all right. Click apply. And now what that's done is it's laid everything out. Like so. Now, sometimes this might not work and you might have to lay it out yourself. Most of the time it does work, and you get some good results, especially substance, because the only time we're going to need what each one of these islands is when we're working inside of a Quixel suite. So for the cable, let me try and find it in this lovely mess. There you go. You can see that this cable isn't done, so I'm just going to automatic map it. Just going to cut this. Cut. Stitch. Always hate doing wires. Unfold. Now this might not work. Create UV shell. And again, I don't want anything like that. So I am going to just cut this again. Create UV shell. Switch. So unfold. Let's not do that. Just to get rid of this bit. Okay, and let's do it with this. I'm just stitching this together. No, don't do that. You can see that if I grab the edge of it, it does screw up a little bit, so you just have to be careful with that. Grab this, create UV shell. I'm just going to make sure that's sewed, and I'm just going to do another unfold. There you go. Just going to cut these in a minute, and I'm just going to make sure they're all leveled out. As soon as I get to the part where it's selecting the other one, I stop. Gonna sew this last one, grab the merge, yeah, that should be fine, do an unfold on it, there you go. And I'm also going to orientate the shell, same with this one as well, orientate, and I'm just going to make sure that's sewed together, stitch. Where's this? Okay. Now one thing I can do is this. I'll straighten this. Same with this, orientate the shell. Straighten it. I can just straighten these shells out. It's not lining up, it's fine. Because it's such a small item, it doesn't matter really. We can get rid of these as well, because these are going to be hidden. So they can go. I can straighten this UV. Let it straighten. Same with that. Should work. Might be a bit too extreme here. No, that's fine. Yep, that one. And this might need a bit of work. There we go. Don't know why I was doing that. Anyway. Move these down here, let's find these and stitch them. Just makes life a lot easier, a lot quicker. Okay, so we can grab this one now. and it should be done. There we go. So let's set that right so they're all the right size, and what we can do now is okay, so the last thing I need to do is just connect this to the bottom and this one as well. So again, what I need to do is I need to cut this, because I'm going to attach it here. Okay, so cut that one as well. And yeah, doesn't matter really, we can sew that, and if I grab all of these faces and go stack, and because they're the right size here, we can add this to the mesh. Okay. If I select all this now, pop that on there, and there we go. So that's just how I set. So next week we're going to look at how we can take this object that we've made, this motion tracker, and bake the detail down using two different pieces of software. The first one being Xnormals, and the second one being Quixel Suite. If you haven't used Quixel Suite or Xnormals before, I have a Quixel Suite tutorial on this channel, and also both of these software, Quixel Suite you have to pay for it, Xnormals is free to use. And the difference between both of these pieces of software is Xnormals, we use it to bake high to low poly detail, whereas Quixel Suite, we can use this normal map creation tool to build quick patterns, especially for sci-fi bolts, that sort of stuff. So I'll see you in the next video next week.